長官ユナイテッドエンパイア今日は試合があった。そして彼がエンパイアの応援してくれるってよ。みんなブローキンケーブルポッドキャストよろしく。
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. This is episode number 88 with our AEW Dynamite review show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here with our co-host, as always, King Rome. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing all right.
Doing all right. All right. Well, welcome everybody to the show here tonight. Wow, we got a couple of people already here. Welcome Joseph Juhas. Welcome Miaja. Thank you guys for joining us. And, you know, I'm going to let Rome take over for a moment here. We got a little bit of an announcement to make.
Oh, you want to open the show with the announcement?
Yeah. Let's open it up with, not with like the whole announcement, but that we're going to have the announcement, you know?
Okay, well, so I have an announcement to make that we have an announcement to make at the end of the show. It's a pretty exciting announcement. Some people have been asking about it for a little while, and we will talk about it at the end. So please stick around to see what we have in store.
Yes. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here with tonight's AEW Dynamite review. And man, what a show this was tonight, man. I had an absolute blast watching this episode of Dynamite. I ran through like a whole list of emotions tonight, you know, with, you know, that female segment with Saraya, that got me in the feels, man. And then, you know, the whole Acclaimed always gets me up and jumping in my seat. So tonight was an awesome episode, man. I ran through a freaking list of emotions tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It was a really good episode of Dynamite. I have a soapbox moment, let's call it, that I'm going to be standing on my soapbox later. When we get there, we'll get there. But there's something, I had a thought that I just wanted to point out and kind of elaborate, but we'll get there.
All right, no worries. So we start the night off with our 8-man tag, the match that I wanted to see the most here tonight. We got the Gun Club, or the Ass Boys, whichever you would like to call them, with Swerve in Our Glory, against FTR and the Acclaimed. And man, right away, I knew this was going to be a great show because this crowd was hot from the moment that this show started. You could just feel the energy in the crowd. You could hear it. And, you know, they definitely let us know that they weren't going to be a bad crowd tonight.
Yeah, it was a hot crowd. They showed up tonight, man. It was a really, really good crowd. Boston really, again, it's a testament to, we've talked about, you know, some of the live attendance being down a little bit. I really, really do think that it just comes to them running markets dry a little bit. We talked about it last week. It's why I'm really excited with Jeff Jarrett being here. I think him expanding on that live calendar, which we did get some news on that tonight, which we'll talk about when we get there. But they, you know, spread out where you travel. Go up to New England more. Go west more. Visit the center of the country other than Texas more. It is a legitimate issue that AEW has where you're seeing it in the ticket sales. Like the product, it's not a problem with the product. It's not a problem with the TV numbers. It's the attendance is down a little bit, and in places like Philly, there's an excuse because Liacouras Center is just a dog shit venue. You know what I mean? Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it's just we've sat in the upper levels. It's it's just Juhas literally buys. I don't know how Juhas goes to every single AEW show here in Philly, and this man sits in the upper level. I don't know how he hears anything. But yeah, I'm excited for them, and I think the crowd was hot tonight because I don't remember the last time they were in Boston.
Yeah, I actually I'm not sure if they've been in Boston for a long time now. Like you said, I can't remember the last time they were there. Do you know if they've ever even been there? I'm sure they have, but
I'm sure they have. I think actually, don't quote me on this, but I think maybe like within the first month of Dynamite 3 years ago, I think one of the first shows was in Boston. But I'm not 100% sure on that because I know they did Philly and then DC. Well, they did DC, Philly. I think the third or fourth show might have been in Boston.
okay.
What? Juhas? No, Juhas. Look, Elite Core Center, the upper levels, the audio up there, the sound up there, fucking terrible.
Yeah. When
Like,
we went, we've gone there twice and sat up there, right? And it was terrible. We couldn't even hear what they were saying in promos, and the video packages couldn't hear anything.
yeah, it's not good.
All right, so this match just starts off amazing. Billy comes running to the ring as soon as everybody has kind of got their entrances done. Billy Gunn just bolts himself down to the ring and starts beating the daylights out of Swerve. I almost thought that they were going to do something here and kind of like screw the match up, but they just kind of kicked Billy out. They had a friend of his from the back. Did you catch that guy's name? I didn't recognize him.
Oh man, they said it. I recognized it in the moment, but I don't remember. I didn't.
It
Write
wasn't
down.
recognizable to me. Like, I'm sure some people might have recognized him, but they said a friend of his came out and kind of escorted him to the back. So then we did get the match to start. Everything was fine. And man, this is where you could tell the crowd was going to be fantastic tonight. This crowd was hot. They were chanting "Scissor Me Daddy" the whole song. This was excellent.
Yeah, I really enjoyed and appreciated the psychology here of Billy. Number one, Billy not just walking down to the ringside and being okay with the fact that Swerve fucking abducted him.
Yeah.
And also the fact that it makes sense for Billy to get sent to the back because, again, this man kidnapped you, tied you up, and bound you, and broke your fingers. It's smart booking. It's the right way to do it. Is have Billy, number one, have Billy not just take it, and then number two, to get Billy away from ringside.
First of all, I want to say thank you for not saying cut off Billy's fingers. I heard so many people complain about that segment being like, I can't believe they made it look like Swerve cut off Billy's fingers with pliers. And I was like, that is your dumb brain doing that. That is not them. With pliers, you break someone's fingers, like, or injure them. You're not cutting anyone's fingers off with pliers. That was you, dumb.
Look, Jeff, there's something you just got to understand. You have to accept that these people that are saying these things are the same people that think it's a great idea to cash in on Money in the Bank during an open challenge. For not a world title, mind you. I don't know if we're going to talk about it tonight, but like...
No, not... Maybe we'll get to it later.
Okay.
So... this match was amazing. There was a Dax Harwood catapult. Just your everyday, grab onto their legs, fall down backwards, and catapult them into the top rope. But this was the best catapult I have ever seen performed in a wrestling ring. It didn't look fake at all. It actually looked like something that if you did it to someone and you were strong enough, he flew naturally face first into that turnbuckle. You know what I mean? Like, did you notice that?
I did, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, seriously, like, that was the best. I was like, that was great. That was insane. So that was something I wanted to point out. Anytime we get Cash and Swerve together in the ring, dude, these guys go like 200 miles an hour and they don't skip a beat. These dudes are so good.
Yeah, I thought this was a really strong opener to the show. This 8-man tag was it was a phenomenal match. My favorite spot of the match was Dax with the superplex out on the top rope out of the ring onto one of the ass boys. I believe it was Austin. Could be
think it was
wrong.
everybody. I mean, everybody was there.
Yeah, but I'm saying who he
Oh,
actually
yes,
made
yes.
the move to. Yeah. But no, I thought that was awesome, and yeah, this is just
Oh,
a
that was a
really
great
fun
spot.
match. A lot of the matches tonight went a little bit longer than your typical Dynamite match might go. A few of them went 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. This match went about 19, 20 minutes, which I thought was just perfect timing for this match. It was, just long enough. 8-man tags are a lot of fun.
Yeah, I actually was at first I don't know what made me think this, but I thought it was going to be kind of like a four-way tag here, but when they grouped up, I was like, "Oh yeah, I love when we do the four-man, tags like that."
Well,
Um
yeah, that was the whole point of the psychology of why
yeah.
Keith Lee was upset about the match being made, because Keith Lee does not want to tag with the Gun Club because he is a babyface and the Gun Club are heels. So, you're still just sowing the discourse or the disdain between Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland.
Yeah. Now since you mentioned that, do you believe Keith Lee seems to be drifting towards Swerve? Like drifting towards the dark side there?
I mean, you're asking could there be a swerve? I mean, obviously there could always be a swerve. Tony Khan books really smart. He believes in smart booking, and he knows that a good swerve is something that is, it's a swerve. It's out of nowhere. And I
Yeah.
think that obviously we're building up to Swerve being the guy that turns heel. I mean, the work he's doing, the stuff he's doing on social media right now, just all of it, which is just, it's all incredible and phenomenal work. But, you do have to think that Swerve is the one that's going to turn heel. But I mean, Keith Lee does seem like he's just done with Swerve Strickland's bullshit. So I don't know. I mean, it's good storytelling. You're not 100% sure where we're going with it.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they're trying to make it obvious that Swerve and Keith Lee are going to be breaking up and we're going to get a singles match between the two, you know what I mean? But I'm thinking that we might get Keith Lee noticing that what he does is working and possibly, you know, kind of like, okay, let's do this. And they turn heel and get the belts back, you know what I mean? And start an actual, like, really nice feud with the Acclaim there.
Yeah. Real quick, Jeff, go to you. I have to turn my camera off for a second. I forgot to plug my computer in.
No worries. All right, so this one, right before that suplex from Dax, there was a off the same top rope to the same group of dudes down below. Swerve Strickland did a backflip corkscrew moonsault landing on everybody to the outside. That was insanity. And then like Rome said, we had the suplex off the top ropes to the outside. This was just incredible, man. Like,
All right, I'm back.
I was in shock for most of this the second half of this match at how good this kept being. Every time I thought this was gonna end, it didn't. So kudos to these guys. This match was absolutely incredible. We finish off the match with a big mic drop and big rig combo. So the Acclaimed and FTR get the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and so Ryan Davis in the chat actually kind of took one of my next points. He says the Gun Club have come a long way. Those two have gotten pretty good in the ring in a classic style tag team. Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree with that. I think the Gun Club have really come into their own. I think a slight change sometimes is beneficial, and they went from, when they were with Billy, I mean, obviously, because that was the dynamic, it was a father-son dynamic, they just seemed like kids that were just kind of dicking around. And now they've made that transition from kids that are dicking around being jerks to being heels. You know what I mean? And like the work they've
Dude.
been doing feuding with FTR has been pretty damn good.
Dude, ever since they adopted that HBK gear, that gear that kind of is like a throwback towards Shawn Michaels, ever since they adopted that gear, it's almost like that gear like completely changed their attitude. And they have felt like they're really trying every single time we see them. They've definitely shown like massive growth, you know what I mean, since the first time we seen them in the ring. 100% agree. Those guys are doing excellent right now.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to the firm. I mean, just them joining the firm and just kind of, again, just sometimes all you need is a small tweak of your character. You don't even got to do a lot. You just tweak it a little bit and you find something that works, and I was always cool with the ass boys, you know what I mean? Like I thought they were pretty funny, but I think the work they're doing right now has been way better.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. 100%. Their work they're doing right now is absolutely way better.
Davis is asking, can you guys see Billy Gunn in the way they sell? Yeah, you can see you can tell they're Billy's sons. Like they just can't help it. They have some Billy Gunnisms. Like even doing the DX crotch chop sometimes. They're just like I think Austin did it tonight where he had a sequence going. He's just like, and then he does his like drop
Yep.
kick, whatever it was. So I
Yep.
mean, yes, it's very apparent um whose sons whose sons they are. They also seem like sometimes they do some Road Dogg stuff. Which
I
Jeff,
was actually gonna say they feel like they've been. It seems like they've studied their dad and Road Dogg's work a lot. It really does.
yeah. So Jeff, real quick tangent. Did you happen to hear the latest thing that Road Dogg said today?
I did not.
All right, Jeff. Oh, here we go. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing excellent. I hope this doesn't ruin it.
It might slightly. So Jeff, I want you to. We're gonna play a quick little game, okay? I'm going
I
to
like
ask
games.
you on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like the GOAT, the best of all time, 0 being like, fucking terrible. You're going to rate some wrestlers for me real quick, okay? As
Okay.
overall packages. Okay? Bret the Hitman Hart.
Number 1.
No, I'm saying
okay,
like
okay, yeah, out of 10. Okay, 10 out of 10.
okay, Bret Hart is a 10 out of 10 for you. Okay, thank you. I was going to say wait.
Yeah,
Hold on.
he's my standard for a 10 out of 10.
Okay. Road Dogg Jesse James.
All right, I got to at least be fair because I did enjoy him back in the day. I will give him like a 6.5.
Okay, what would you say if I told you that Road Dogg today said that he was greater than Bret Hart?
I would laugh.
Well, Jeff, start laughing, man. Start fucking laughing. This man, he said that Bret Hart was good because he was a wrestler, but being a wrestler is not important. It's the sports entertainer. If you're a great sports entertainer, you're better than a pro wrestler, and that's why Road Dogg said he was better than Bret Hart.
That's absolutely 100% false.
See, for me, it's both things are important. I think all the GOATs can do both. I think that's how I look at it. And while yes, granted, Bret Hart was not the greatest, in terms of on the mic work. I mean, he was good. He was very good at his best. I mean, the Hitman persona and character is a phenomenal character and persona. And I mean, his mic work, especially the mic work done towards the end of his run against, Shawn Michaels when he was a heel, was really good. So, I mean, but yeah, Road Dogg Jesse James said he is greater than Bret Hart.
Do we have some sort of like clown of the week award? Do we want to start that? Maybe he'll get it like every week.
Unfortunately, Booker T is locked down for the next 5 years. So, although Road Dogg really makes it. Road Dogg really see. Here's the thing, right? Like I find life to be extremely ironic. You know what I mean? Like I think that life is just really funny. The way things happen, the way things work. And if you told me, like, let's say 12 years ago, if you told me 12 years ago that I would just fucking hate every single member of D-Generation X except for Billy Gunn, I'd say you're fucking crazy. You're like, there's no way.
I would have called you a liar. Yeah.
I was like, no way. I love DX. They're my favorite, faction of all time. I love Road Dogg. I love Triple Paul. I love Michael Hickenbottom. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all about these guys. And now here we are, and I'm just like, wow. Huh. All right.
I love that you call him Triple Paul. It's one of my favorite things.
Oh, yeah, man. We got Triple Paul, Pinocchio Paul. We have a new one after tonight, which we'll get to later.
I like what Ryan Davis said. As far as Brian James, it's good to be proud of yourself, but not at the expense of being delusional.
Right.
It's a perfect way to put it.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a great way to put it because in terms of the Attitude Era, no, you cannot undersell the good and the great stuff that DX did, and Road Dogg was a big part of that. Like, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't argue that. If you try arguing that, you're just dumb. But at the same time, it's fucking Bret the Hitman Hart. Like, I can't think of one Road Dogg match ever. Like my favorite Road Dogg match would probably be the dumpster match with the New Age Outlaws versus Mick Foley and Terry Funk. Like that's like the one match that I can even think of. But that's not saying much. And then character wise, I mean he never even hit the echelon of a top star. So I mean I don't know. I don't want to get too much more into it, but yeah,
No,
that was
he knows he had no business saying that. He said it to get people talking about him and to get clicks. That's all.
he's a Fed guy. They know what to do.
Yeah, that's clickbait. That's clickbait for sure. All right, next up was an incredible video package promo. I don't even know what to call this because it was essentially MJF on some random podcast.
The Pardon My Take pod. It's a Barstool, I believe.
I know.
It's a huge podcast.
I just wasn't trying to plug anybody. That's all.
I guess so. I mean, you know.
So it was MJF on it was the Barstool Sports podcast, right?
Yeah, Pardon My Take.
Yeah. And I think he even said, in his opinion, the greatest podcast in the world. And this was incredible. This interview he was doing, he was basically talking to the podcaster, but it felt like he was talking to us. This was amazing.
There are moments tonight, especially tonight, that you just let these wrestlers be real. You know, I think it's hilarious to me that, you know, a winning formula that WWE, inherited and started using. I mean, I'm sure maybe some of the territories might have used it. Just let them be themselves and turn it up to 11. And that's what you get with MJF. And it's just phenomenal work week in and week out. Like the way his presentation, his delivery, the way he's talking about what he's saying, the way, you know that he feels this, like he's talking and, you can feel the actual frustration because it's coming from a place that includes things that are shoots. You know what I mean? Like he's talking about how his spotlight keeps being taken from him his entire run in AEW. He talks about how the night he faced Moxley for the world title the last time at a pay-per-view, nobody talked about him because they talked about the scary bump that Matt Hardy took off of the giant post. And he just goes on, and then he's like, and finally I come back and I return, and this is my moment. This is finally my fucking moment. And everybody just wants to talk about CM Punk and the Elite, a fucking press conference. And you just feel it. If you don't get it, if you don't connect, like, I don't know if you should be watching pro wrestling, because like this is the we are at the mountaintop when it comes to MJF. I mean, obviously not in terms of the work he can do, but like this is it, man. Like this is why we do promos. This is why wrestlers do promos, is for moments like this. Like I'm just sitting here and I'm just absorbing it. This was excellent, and it's another week, and like it goes without saying that this man went on a fucking podcast and he cut a fucking generational promo on a podcast. He's not there in the crowd having the crowd, vibe it to make it special. You know what I mean? Like there's no one else involved. It's just him sitting on a chair in a room like this, staring at the camera and just pouring his heart out. And it's special. Like I don't know, man.
Freaking awesome.
And he makes a great point about every generation you have that guy who comes in and takes charge. He talks with Bruno Sammartino and Hogan and Flair and, Rock, Stone Cold, Cena. Like this is the kind of guy that MJF is. MJF is at that level. And I think we're seeing, if there's the biggest positive that I would say that came out of the Brawl Out is you really have seen a lot of the younger guys step up and have that moment that Mox had, where it's like, I want to be the guy, and I make it known that I'm the fucking guy. You see it with Ricky Starks, you see it with MJF. These guys, if Tony Khan is smart, which I do think he is, these are guys that you don't ever let leave AEW. This MJF, if I'm Tony Khan, sign him to like a 20-year contract. I don't care how dumb that sounds. When you get this TV rights deal situated, although I do really think he's already signed an extension, I would sign it again. I would extend him even further.
Dude, he's incredible, man. I love the way he said basically every time he's had a good moment, the spotlight's been stolen from him. And if you think about it, he listed every time, and it's true. Like every time he's had one of his big moments, something happened and stole the spotlight, man.
Yeah, and Jeff, I just want to kind of make it clear, like, because I really do feel this way. I think that we are going to be in the building for what is going to be a historic moment
Oh
next
man,
Saturday.
I can't wait.
Even MJF said it. Like this is the moment. Like this is the moment where you see the changing of the guard in a sense, and and this is the thing that AEW's biggest detractors, all the bots and all the Fed fans. This is what they're talking about. Like, oh, like why don't you push younger talent? Like you keep signing all these WWE guys. The thing that people don't understand is that number one, you need to let the talent be ready. You have to let them get there, and we are on the precipice of the next generation stepping forward. You have Jack Perry. I'm not even like here on out. I'm not even calling him Jungle Boy anymore. I mean, he's Jungle Boy Jack Perry, but I'm going to call him Jack Perry the same way I would say Steve Austin. Like,
Yeah, I got you.
not that he's reached the Steve Austin level, but like that's just an example. You got him, Ricky Stark. Tonight was another night where we saw Sammy Guevara go out there and like, fuck, you hate his guts, but it's like the dude's just killing it.
Dude, he's so good.
And we are on the precipice of that. And I think MJF winning that title next Saturday is that moment where, like, obviously you're going to see some more established guys win the title again. That's just how it works. Honestly, I feel like Tony Khan is just begging Bryan Danielson to win a title before he's done. Danielson keeps saying no. I bet you, but it's just...
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, history. History is going to be made next weekend.
I can't wait, man. Can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we had Stokely Hathaway cutting a video package promo on Max, saying, he's been dick riding Moxley, and you can't dick ride without a license. That was hilarious, dude. I laughed so hard when he said that. And he said, see you in hell, Max. So, next up, we had Ethan Page versus Eddie Kingston. Dude, this was awesome. I love how they went over all the matches that these two have had over the years. These two have had some crazy ass bloody matches if you've never seen them. They've had a cage match, they've had a dog collar match, they've had I Quit matches. This was great. And during this match, I actually wrote down, this announce team is incredible. The interaction between Taz, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur together, just the way that it's just great. I love these three together.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Just a few things I kind of wanted to touch on real quickly. I also loved the Stokely Hathaway promo. I loved the way it was shot. Him standing over a pier. Tonight, for me, is one of those nights where, again, like everyone knows me, I'm a big promo guy, character development guy. Like that's the shit that, I mean, obviously I love the pro wrestling and the matches themselves, but like for me, it's character development and promos that's my fucking bread and butter. And I thought there was just a lot of strong promos tonight. And obviously Stokely's isn't the strongest, but I thought it was really well done. Afterwards, right before the Ethan Page Eddie Kingston match, Tony Schiavone announces that AEW will make its debut in the UK in 2023, with more details to come next week. They also mentioned, I believe, that there's going to be 2 Western markets that are going to be getting their Dynamite debuts announced next week as well.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I'm assuming one's going to be Las Vegas. I would be very surprised if it's not.
Well, they've been in Vegas, so it's not going to be Vegas because they well, yeah, the Double or Nothing is in Vegas every year.
Yeah, but a Dynamite debut.
Yeah, but I think that they're talking like AEW debut.
Okay.
If I had to guess, they're saying West. I'm going to go and say, no, because their California shows were pretty close to Hollywood. I think San Francisco, maybe.
Yeah, you could have some more California.
California's a big state, so I would say San Francisco, and maybe they go like New Mexico or something. That's West Coast.
Yeah, I was just say maybe Arizona.
Yeah.
All right. So this match with Ethan Page and Eddie Kingston was freaking awesome. The announce team was awesome. Eddie Kingston did a double arm suplex to Ethan Page that I really, really enjoyed. That was one of my favorite spots of the match. Immediately after, Ethan hits Eddie with a suplex on the outside. That looked nasty. Those suplexes on the outside, man. The padding is only like an inch thick. That's gotta suck.
Oh yeah.
At one point in the match, Eddie locks in the stretch plum, and we got an obvious tap out, but we got interruption from Stokely Hathaway distracting the referee. The referee obviously did not see the tapping out, and this winds up with all ego Ethan Page hitting a top rope avalanche, whatever he calls that, ego's edge, right?
Yes.
So we got an avalanche ego's edge off the top ropes to Eddie. 1, 2, 3. What do you think of this obvious tap out, man? Do you think we're gonna have any repercussions from this?
The tap out itself, probably not. So I don't know if you've been watching Dark a lot. They've been telling Eddie Kingston's story on Dark where he's been very kind of on the fringe of snapping. You know, he and Ortiz have been winning these tag matches, and after every match, he's attacking the opponents after the bell, almost forcing disqualifications each week. But luckily Ortiz kind of steps in and stops it. But yeah, I mean I think it's just Eddie's struggling right now in a character perspective. And we're just going to continue to see that. I don't know if he's going to be on the card for Full Gear. I mean, obviously Full Gear's in next weekend, and him being out of the tournament sucks for him. But I mean, I guess we'll see what happens within the next week to see if maybe he can make the card still. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm wondering if maybe in Ethan's next match for this eliminator, Eddie interferes somehow. But we'll see. This might just be part of that story, like you were saying, of him snapping.
Yeah.
All right. So the winner of this match is gonna face the winner of Bandito and Roosh on Friday Night Rampage. So that's gonna be that'll be nice. Whoever he faces there, that should be good either way.
Yeah, and
I
would expect Bandito to get that graphic next on Friday as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping Bandito picks up that win. Especially for his first match while he is signed, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Hope he gets that win.
See, I'm a little torn here because I love Bandito. I think this guy is super talented. And just him being in this tournament, honestly, this tournament just feels like it's Ricky Starks' tournament to win. That's my initial thought. So I feel kind of bad for all these guys in the tournament because I think they're all really good, choices to win this tournament. I don't think there's a bad one in the tournament. I mean, obviously Eddie's out now, but I think there's a story for Ethan Page, a story for Bandito, for Roosh, Archer, Starks, Dante Martin, Brian Cage. That's kind of maybe the weakest of the matchups. But I don't know. It kind of sucks, but I guess that's just good booking because I'm sitting here like I think it's Ricky's tournament, but like, man, I would love to see Bandito win this tournament, or I would love to see Ethan Page win this tournament. But that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Would love to see Ethan Page win this tournament. All right, next up we had Renee Paquette backstage with Roosh and Jose with the Dark Order. And essentially Roosh is offering 10 a shot at the world title after he finishes the tournament and wins the world title. He says you could be in line for the first chance at the title. And I'm assuming this means he wants 10 to help him out through the tournament or join them, but we'll see. This was a decent segment here. I do like this whole Roosh trying to get 10 over to his side thing. It gives the Dark Order like a little bit of something to do right now rather than just like existing, but go ahead. What do you think?
Just disband the Dark Order.
Yeah.
Just look, man. I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're going with 10 leaving the Dark Order, and
yes.
So if 10 leaves the Dark Order at that point, you have Reynolds, Uno, and Silver. Which, I mean, I guess at that point you're just arguing that they're just going to be a trio from now on, and that's going to be, and they'll be in the trios division. I would just say, like, okay, this is unfortunately, I think this is where you end it. Or I had this thought yesterday: have them be part of Ring of Honor. Maybe they could finally get the footing that they need in Ring of Honor's roster. Because Colt Cabana's over in Ring of Honor. Could, still kind of move him back together with them. And see, Coach saying fuck the Dark Order. See, like, I'm so conflicted because, and when we sit here week in and week out, actually it's been a few weeks because the Dark Order just haven't been on TV. But I don't hate anyone in the Dark Order. I love everyone in the Dark Order. I think they're all super talented. But, like, it just sucks because I see Anna Jay go on to do great stuff. And then the Stu Grayson thing, that seems like that was just a one-off because we haven't seen him at all since. So Stu isn't back. Stu just showed up because they were in Canada and he's from Canada, which is cool. But at that point, just sign Stu. I don't know. It's very bittersweet, and who knows? Maybe Ring of Honor would be the place for them.
Yeah, I could agree with that, but it does feel like they're some of the originals, and I think they have like a place in Tony's heart. They might be around forever, you know what I mean? Just in one way or another.
Yeah. It sucks because it's Brody Lee. It's like you wanna honor Brody Lee, and I get it, but problem is in pro wrestling, you have to you can keep an act around, but the act needs to, move forward and do things.
Yeah. I do think it should be reduced to the 3 though. If it's gonna just be like Uno, Silver, and Reynolds is what I think it should wind up being. 10 should go off, be Preston Vance. -1, when he grows up, maybe they could do something, bring him in, you know what I mean? But that's a long ways away, Ryan. He's only like, what is he now? Maybe 13?
Yeah, he's like 13. You're talking like minimum 5 years out. Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, but we can't have the Dark Order be
Yeah.
relevant 5 years from now by doing this. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, because that's the funny thing is, like, the Dark Order really it's only been a year since they kind of fell off. The last noteworthy thing they did was when they helped Hangman win the world title. After that, they pretty much disappeared. So it's been a year. Like, we can't do this for 5 more years. I can't do this for 5 more years.
There's basically 2 things that I would be okay. I mean, not okay with, but there's 2 things that I would recommend at the moment. 1, make Evil Uno the leader, the pseudo leader, I guess you would call it, with Reynolds and Silver, and have them as a trios team. Or bring in Redbeard and have him be their leader, something like that. And have them kind of help him go after a TNT title or something. But them as a unit of 4 right now, it's just kind of like just existing. There's nothing for them to do. They don't have a purpose. So we'll see. All right, next up was the Ari Daivari versus Wardlow match. And before the match started, Ari Daivari offers his butler for the TNT title. So essentially, he is offering Wardlow the services of his butler, Jeeves, in exchange for the TNT title.
It's Jeeves SK.
Jeeves SK. Sounds like the worst trade-off I've ever heard.
I don't know, man. I mean, a butler would be pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, it does sound pretty cool to have a butler. What was that movie, Mr. Deeds? I am very, very sneaky.
Yeah.
That was good. But yeah, so obviously Wardlow declines, absolutely annihilates Jeeves, headbutts Ari Daivari. I honestly thought after the headbutt he was just going to put his foot on his chest and pin him there, but I forgot we had to go through the Powerbomb Symphony. So we got one big lariat and then a foursome of power bombs. This did what it needed to do, but I don't like that we squashed Daivari here because he's kind of like the leader of the trust company. You know what I mean? Like, not sure we should have squashed him like that, but whatever.
I would counter argue by saying it's Wardlow.
True, definitely true.
So I mean, because here's the thing: you have to remember the hierarchy of the rosters. Like, yes, the Trustbusters are, he's the leader of the Trustbusters, but he's still he's still this slimy heel, and he's not the Trustbusters aren't high in the rankings right now. So it's like they're the kings of dark, and they're doing some Rampage and Dynamite shows now, but I mean, you know what I mean? It's the kind of guy that can take a beat up from someone like Wardlow. It's not the biggest deal. Ryan Davis saying poor VSK can't catch a break anywhere. So here's the thing. I know I just said like they're just the Kings of Dark and right now, which is fine. There's really nothing wrong with that. I think that the Trustbusters are fucking great. I really like them.
I love them. Yeah.
And I think Jeeves VSK is a really nice touch. I think he's doing some really good work there too. Obviously he hasn't wrestled too much. I think he wrestled on Dark this past week actually.
Yeah, didn't the Trustbusters wrestle for the trios titles?
For the Ring of Honor 6-man tag.
Yeah, I was actually nervous they were going to win. I was like, oh no, Peacock Power better come full today.
Yeah, man. I mean, Dark and Elevation have been pretty damn good lately. If you're not watching Dark or Elevation, like, do it because they've been really good, actually.
Speaking of Dark, man, Dalton Castle, he's great. He's amazing.
He really is.
Love that guy.
Yeah.
So at the end of this match, Wardlow calls out Hobbs. Hobbs comes out to the ramp, and I don't know why, but I saw this coming. I really, really did. I was like, oh my God, Joe's going to smash Wardlow right here. I just felt it coming. And sure enough, Wardlow says this one sentence of there's nobody that's able to challenge me, or he said something like Hobbs, like I finally have a real challenger. And I think that's what set Joe off, and Joe smashes Wardlow in the back of the head with with the Ring of Honor television title. Did you see that coming?
Number one, yes, we've talked about it for weeks now. There've been some teases, and with Joe tonight, you saw it was pretty much coming. The way he was standing there when Wardlow went up the stairs back in Gorilla, and just the way Joe was standing behind Wardlow. So we've been watching wrestling for a long time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can just tell. And the way this camera angle was set up, it was like, yeah, tonight's the night. Now, the line that you're referring to that Wardlow said that was the final straw for Joe was, Wardlow said, I'm going to take every title in this company. Now, Samoa Joe is a champion in this company. He is a Ring of Honor television champion. So, yeah, no, obviously Joe took some offense to that.
That makes perfect sense. That was the sentence that set him off.
Yes.
All right. So
now I will say this, some critiquing for this segment. The cameras for this segment, not good. Not good cameras at all. Number one, they did make it very predictable that Joe was going to turn on Wardlow here. When you have this type of shot that you're doing, you use the hard cam. Use the hard cam for this. Do not use the camera that's standing right in front of Wardlow so you can see Joe behind him. Clearly Joe is lining himself up. Like Joe is about to do it. If you go back and watch it, like this man is kind of stepping to the left a little bit. He's like, all right, getting ready for it. And then the other thing with the cameras that really didn't do it for me in the segment was they actually cut to Hobbs, and so they missed the initial impact of Joe hitting Wardlow with the title.
Yes, that was very bad timing. He literally hit the button the second he was hitting him with the title, man. Like, I felt bad for the guy in the control room right there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fumble, it happens, mistakes happen, and it wasn't exactly like it's not like the biggest deal in the world because they do a great job of kind of rectifying that right away. They show a bunch of replays from a few different angles. You get a good look at the hit. But this is a review, so I would like to see them kind of clean that up a little bit.
I even wrote down, I was like, man, that was so unlucky for the guy in the truck. A half a second too early. That, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like literally a half a second. If he would have waited, he would have been fine. But I think he was aiming to get the reaction of Hobbs seeing the hit. I think he was thinking it already happened when he went to hit it. I'm not sure what happened, but very unfortunate. They were just
trying to make it seem like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I think that was the idea. I think they were like, okay, well, this is about Hobbs and Wardlow. Go to Hobbs, go to Wardlow, go to Hobbs. Oh shit, Joe just hit him. Like they were trying to time it where it was seeming like it was going to be focused on those two, and then when it cuts back to Wardlow, that's when Joe hits him. But I don't know.
So Ryan says he thinks it's setting up a 3-way at Full Gear so Wardlow can drop the TNT title without losing. I don't think Wardlow's dropping this title though.
See, I actually agree with you, Jeff. I don't think Wardlow's dropping the title either. I mean, like, I could see Hobbs winning, but I don't see Joe losing right now. I think that's kind of more so where I'm looking at it from. I think if they do a 3-way and Hobbs is winning, I think he pins Wardlow.
Huh.
Because I just don't see them giving Joe his first AEW loss right after he turns heel. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Now, you can do it in a way because with 3-way dances, if I'm not mistaken, I think 3-way dances are always no DQ in AEW. Not 100% sure if I remember that correctly, but I think they are. So you could have it where it's not, a straight up he got beat finish. It could be Joe like maybe pummels him with a chair or something like that. I don't know. But I do agree. I think we are getting a 3-way dance here at Full Gear for the TNT Championship.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. Let's see here. Where are we at? So yeah, I did see at the end there, Hobbs said, I'll kick your ass too to Joe. So yeah, it does feel like we're going to get a 3-way going there. So next up, we had Renee Paquette in the back with Jade and the Baddies. Jade cut a decent promo on Nyla Rose saying, at Full Gear, it's you and me, bitch. We'll see. I really think Jade needs to put on a good match here at Full Gear. It's getting, what is she now? 42-0? Yes. They're trying to push 50, it feels like. And, some of these matches up to 50 should be a little bit more difficult for her, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like they should have a pretty decently long match here at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, sure. I agree.
Yeah. All right, next up, we had Tony Schiavone in the ring with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Saraya. And, man, first thing I wrote down was Saraya looks incredible. Her and Britt, both of their jackets are absolutely fire. They need to sell those ladies' jackets just like they do these men's jackets, man. I would buy one of those Britt jackets just to have it for, like, never to even wear it. You know what I mean? I don't... So this really got me in the feels, man. I was not expecting it at all. I was just expecting Saraya to kind of kick Britt's ass, you know what I mean, to reveal everything here, but she said she went through all the tests, all the MRIs, she saw the surgeons and she saw the doctors, and unfortunately for Britt, she is 100% cleared. And dude, the misty eyes waterworks just started out of nowhere. I was like, what's happening? What's coming out of my face? And it was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, I'm just going to be really upfront with you on this. I think this is probably one of my favorite segments in the history of women's wrestling. This was
nice.
This was just, man, I'm writing in my notes, like, this was a great promo, and again, a lot of the promos tonight were just excellent. So you start with Saraya saying that she's cleared to wrestle 100%, and like you do get that emotion there. She gets choked up and emotional. You're sitting there crying. I'm sitting there getting teared up because it's just such a moment that she gets cleared and she can go back out and do what she loves because this is what she grew up around, and she has a line where she says like, I've been doing this for 30 years, 17 professionally. Because her parents are both pro wrestlers, and like that's the facts. Like she grew up in the business.
Yeah. They made a movie about her.
Yeah, and I've seen it. It's actually pretty good. But it's a huge moment for her. And then you think that Saraya is going to take charge of this promo, right? Because I'm watching this promo and I'm like, okay, this is Saraya's promo. This is her. I'm back. Obviously, she's been back for a month and she's been doing some promo work, kind of getting her legs underneath her. We've talked about it where it's been a little hit or miss with her. Tonight she came out and like, this is it. Like, she's like, I'm back, my house. Like, let's go. And Britt, I was expecting Britt to not necessarily kind of just like lay down and like let Saraya get over. But Brit did not do that. We saw, holy shit, we saw the Britt Baker. Like, this is like, when we talk about Britt Baker, Juhas, you know I love you, man, but shut up. Because
shut up, Joe.
just shut up. But Brit, right, is like we talk about this, the duality of Britt Baker, where it's like Brit's either like way up here or like way down here, like on the floor, and there's really no in between with her. And like this was like, okay, this is Brit bringing out her top game, and it was even Brit was fucking incredible. She's talking about, you know, that Saraya didn't have what it takes to be a superstar. Obviously, you know what that's referring to, and she's talking about, you know, just saying like, you wanted to be everything that I was. I'm the foundation of a women's division. That's something you wanted to do, but you weren't able to do it because of your injuries, because of this, that, and the third. You know, y'all crybabies isn't a big deal. What do you mean it's not a big deal? She
just ignored him.
She was told she was gonna retire and she was done forever.
It's like Shibata, man. People thought he'd never be in the ring again, bro.
Look, man, and like, you can't say that, you know, because when Bryan Danielson came back,
I
fucking cried. Like I wept. Like, I don't know. I get what Joe's saying. I mean, like, he's not a huge Saraya fan. I think she's very good. I don't think she's like the greatest of all time or anything, but I enjoy her work, and I think that this promo really kind of set the bar for her going forward about what I want to see from her. I thought she was really good. And again, just so Britt kind of goes off, and we see the Britt Baker that I want to see, you know, and then Saraya fires back, and you know, just really emotional, talking about how she's battled her drug addiction publicly. She's dealt with all this shit, and you can tell she's shooting at this point. Like, honestly, I feel like they're both shooting at this point.
Oh yeah.
And it's just, again, it's just, you let people be themselves. You give them the mic and you say, just fucking go. And like, and this is what you're going to get. And, you know, like, it was probably, it's probably one of my favorite women's segments of all time. Ending with Saraya laying out Britt Baker because Saraya's cleared now. This promo was fucking incredible. And now I'm going to get on my soapbox. And the chat's kind of going in the direction that I wanted to talk about.
1 second before you start, I have to point out something that Britt said that was one of the greatest lines I have ever heard spoken in wrestling. She said, so Britt Baker says this to Saraya. She said, "You left your house and walked into mine. We don't take walk-ins. So bitch, make an appointment." Because she's the dentist. Oh my God, that shit was fucking perfect. That was absolute perfection, dude. Oh my God, it was so good.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. I mean, again, this is the Britt Baker I want to see. Like, this is the Britt Baker I want to see. Like, hello, Britt. Thank you for joining us. And again, like, I don't want to shit on Britt Baker because I think Britt Baker's great. But I mean, am I wrong here? I mean, Britt gets pretty cold sometimes.
But like you said, it was perfect. She's either up here or down here. There's no middle ground. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and
this was definitely up here.
This was phenomenal. Now my soapbox, right? So here's the thing. Critics of the women's division in AEW, they just need to be quiet, because we have 3 matches on Full Gear, women's matches. We have 3 women's matches. I don't remember the last time a main promotion in North America did that. You know, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, obviously you could say the Evolution pay-per-view, but that was kind of for clout, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But so, like, I'm sitting here, right, and I'm watching this, and I watched the Sky Blue Jamie Hayter match later, which I'll follow up on, but I'll just say it right now. I thought that match was really good. I thought that was probably Sky Blue's best outing in AEW. But like, we're sitting here with the women's division firing on all cylinders in AEW. You have 3 storylines going on right now. You have women wrestling on Dark, 4 storylines, because you have Athena on Dark right now who's turning heel and just destroying local talent. You have women are wrestling on Dark and Dynamite, getting the reps, some of the more inexperienced women. You have weekly matches, multiple weekly matches on TV. You have a women's title feud that is very interesting. Everyone's really excited for Tony and Jamie. You have the TBS title feud, which is doing something pretty fresh with Jade and Nyla. And then now you have this match, which is like, I'm super stoked for this. This segment was incredible. And I just think that in the past, I think many people, myself included, would agree that one of the biggest issues that AEW's had is its women's division has always kind of struggled. Not that they didn't have the talent, but that it just didn't feel important. It didn't feel like it mattered. That's not the case anymore. And I just feel like every week we're sitting down, I'm watching AEW TV from Dark and Elevation to Dynamite and Rampage and the pay-per-views, and I'm just seeing great work from the women's division. You know what I mean? And like we're sitting here, and I don't even have a lot to say about Sheeta. Like, Sheeta's doing great work. Riho's here, and Riho's doing good work. But like, we're not even talking about the ones that I assume are the ones that are doing the great work. Like, it's just beyond that. Now, granted, Sheeta and Riho are still wrestling, but that just adds to it. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much good going on with the women's division right now that I think it needs to be recognized. Credit needs to be given, because at the same time we were sitting here saying the women's division's not very good for 2.5 years. Like, during the pandemic, it was Sheeta and Brit, and that was it. You know what I mean? And like, you had Nyla doing work too, which is really good. But other than that, like, it was a 3/4 women division. And like, now, like, you got Athena over here doing her thing. You got Jade and Nyla over there. You got Brit and Saraya, Jamie and Tony. Whether you like her or not, Thunder Rosa's, waiting in the wings, probably coming back in January as a heel. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to just kind of give the division their props. So
I 100% agree with you. I could not have said that better myself. All right, so like you said, Saraya lays out Brit with what used to be called the Rampage. I'm assuming she's going to rename the move because it had the name Page in it. But that's the only thing I know it as right now is the Rampage. So we'll see what she calls that later on. She told Brit before she hit it, this is going to be my comeback and your biggest match of your career. That was also a great comeback by Saraya at the end.
Which
there,
it is the biggest match of Brit's career, in my opinion.
And I don't know if Brit actually thought about that until she said it, because her eyes kind of lit up for a second, like, oh shit.
Again, it was real, it was authentic, and like, that's why I love AEW, man. It's just, I sit here every week and I watch these promos, and like, it's just, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the writers, maybe it's the vibe. I don't know what it is. It has to be the writers, right? Like, they has to be, because they have writers writing the other show's scripts. But like,
I'll tell you right now, this felt like there was a writer involved, because that line from Brit about "we don't take fucking walk-ins" was so damn good. I couldn't stop thinking about it for the whole rest of the show. I was just like, that fucking line was incredible. Like, it was so good.
I think Brit could come up with that. Come on, no,
I all credit to her if she did. I'm not saying she couldn't. It really felt like they put so much effort into this to make it perfect, and it felt like it was.
Yeah, I understand the sentiment.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we had a backstage segment with Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal paying off the factory with QT Marshall and what was his name? Cole Carter, the guy who nobody had any clue who he was. So QT takes all the money and then takes one $20 bill out of it and slips it to Cole Carter. He's like, "Here's your cut, kid." Says next time it's half off. And then Danhausen shows up out of nowhere all angry, and we wind up getting a Orange Cassidy versus I don't even know who match out of nowhere. And then we get
Lee Johnson
against Lee Johnson.
Yeah.
I just love how as soon as he was like, "How about next week and Orange Cassidy was just like, "Yep, sure," and walked away.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, I love the way that they're booking Cassidy's matches right now.
See, I agree with Coach Nick. The Cole Carter hate needs to stop, Jeffrey. Like that. First off, good night, Ryan. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. Make sure you come back and check out our announcement later tomorrow. Come back, watch the second half of this video. We have an announcement. The announcement's still coming. But yes, thank you for checking us out. Anyways, I really love this backstage segment. I thought that it got a lot done with a lot of moving parts. It sets up for some, like, this is what a productive segment looks like, because they get so much done and so many people get screen time on this segment. I love the Jay Lethal QT thing. I love him slipping, Jay Lethal's like, no need to count it. It's all there. And QT's not counting it. He's just taking his cut. And that was great. And then you have the best friend show up, and Danhausen's like, Big Shoddy Lee, you ruined my Halloween. And so Orange is like, don't hit my friends. And like you said, QT's like, look, if you want to go, all right. And he just walks away.
All right.
And then they cut to, they set up for a match. Oh boy.
Everything's fine.
Oh boy. I'm gonna have to see what happens here on the feed coming up in a few seconds. Anyway, so then we also get a match for Dynamite that ends up happening. Trent Beretta and Jay Lethal get set up during this segment too. So like again, super productive segment. Gets a lot done in about 35 seconds.
Purple's gonna kill me. I broke her friend's cup.
Oh, I see. Oh no.
Oh, I hope she's not watching. I'm gonna have to glue this back together or something.
I just hear someone storming into the room. How could you do this?
If she had a Nerf gun, I'd probably be getting shot in the side of the head right now.
Anyways, yeah, so again, thought it was great, and it sets up for the following match, Jay Lethal and Trent Beretta.
Yeah, that was actually really, I didn't expect this match to be coming on immediately from the backstage like that. So we immediately get Trent Beretta coming down the ramp. He gets attacked by Jay Lethal before the bell starts. They fight on the ramp for a moment, but they get in the ring, start the match. Lethal focuses on Trent Beretta's knee for most of the match. Trent hits him with a huge avalanche half and half off the top rope. That was freaking sweet. Blame the cat. Yes. Good job, coach. Good job. Thank you. Good idea. Danhausen hops up on the ring to give a curse to Sanjay, or I'm sorry, he was going to curse Satnam Singh, but he turns around and curses Sanjay Dutt and punches him in the balls at the same time. But for his troubles, he gets a massive headbutt from Satnam Singh there. Down goes Danhausen, but in the scuffle, the ref is distracted, or, not the ref. Trent gets distracted in the scuffle there. Gets hit by a big ol' lethal injection, and Jay Lethal gets the 1, 2, 3. What'd you think of the match?
I thought the match was fine. I thought it was a good match. Not Trent's best work, not Jay Lethal's best work, but it was cool. It was a cool TV match. It was fine.
That's what I thought. I pretty much thought the same. After the match, they walk up to the top of the ramp, and Tony Schiavone tries to interview Sanjay, but Sanjay sends him back to the announce table. He gets on the mic and, announces their friend, Jeff, JARRETT. And Jeff Jarrett comes out and cuts another awesome promo. Jeff Jarrett did his Jeff Jarrett thing. We had one of the stagehands trying to count Jeff Jarrett up, and he's like, "You trying to count me up?" And threatens to hit him with the guitar, chases him around for a few minutes. This was great. I actually am enjoying Jeff Jarrett tremendously in AEW, and I was not sure that I was going to.
I'm exactly the same. I wasn't super sure about this, but man, when I tell you I loved this tonight with Jeff Jarrett, it's him coming out. He's number one, so good at putting these guys over. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this, right? I'm going to say Jeff Jarrett, my favorite carny in pro wrestling.
Okay.
I don't like carnies generally. But man, Jeff Jarrett fucking killing it. I really enjoyed it. And of course, that, the way to my heart, is there any other way into my heart than by mocking Braun Strowman and Pinocchio Paul?
See, I was wondering if you caught that. So, but is it Braun or is it Omos? They both wear red skinny jeans. I've seen them both wear it.
That makes it even better because it's just in general. So for those that don't know, so Jeff Jarrett, he's putting over, his friends. He puts over Jay Lethal, saying that this man oozes machismo, that he signed him to his first contract. He's done all this stuff, puts him over, puts Sanjay Dutt over, says his IQ is, 158, super smart guy.
181.
Sorry, 181. Sorry. And then he puts over Satnam Singh. Does a great job, first of all, putting over Satnam Singh. Makes sure the cameraman started his feet, go all the way up. Very old school, but it really works. And then he says, It's not some. He's not some make believe monster in red skinny jeans being produced by the Banana Nose Circus. And like, man, look, okay, because obviously, I am a huge appreciator of like Triple Paul, Pinocchio Paul. When I see people call Triple H funny names on Twitter that I find hilarious, I fucking love it. And the fact that this man, Jeff Jarrett, this man, you know, in trying times in my life, this man has truly brought me joy, and it's something that I will probably remember for a long time to come.
What did he call him?
Banana Nose Circus.
That was definitely a reference to Triple Paul, right?
Absolutely, Banana Nose. Come on, have you seen that man's nose?
He managed to insult Braun Strowman, Omos, and Triple Paul in one sentence. That was great.
Yeah, and Coach said single-handedly won Rome with this promo. Yeah, because again, like I am very cautious about the carnies in pro wrestling, and I do think Jeff Jarrett is kind of one of those old carny guys. But like, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, his work the past 2 weeks has been super enjoyable. I really liked it. I'm a huge fan of the fact they brought him in to help with the live touring and the live calendar, and great segment. And I love that he started chasing the audio guy or the countdown guy with his guitar, and it's just really good. This is a big thumbs up for me.
Yeah, after the first the first night that he debuted, everyone was kind of like, let's see where this is gonna go. I don't know about Jeff Jarrett on screen. If you had any doubts, this was great. I thought this was fantastic. So,
you know what's crazy? The fact that in 2022, standing in the middle of the ring. What's up, Jordan? Standing in the middle of the ring at Full Gear, again, historic night. We're gonna see Jeff Jarrett and Sting go at it.
Dude, I hope it's one-on-one. I'll be fine if it's in a tag with the two, but I really hope it's one-on-one.
So it was already announced. It is a tag match. It's Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett versus Sting and Darby Allin. Which honestly, that's the way it should be. I mean, these two guys are a little bit older. Let there be some guys in there that can kind of help carry the match when needed. So
true. All right, next up we had Renee Paquette backstage with Jungle Boy Jack Perry. He cuts a decent little promo on Christian and Luchasaurus, saying he's not done with them yet, and he kind of puts it forth that he's going to have a challenge for them at Full Gear that he's going to reveal on Rampage. So,
yep.
I guess this filled a couple of seconds here, but I was like, if you're going to do it on Rampage, just do it on Rampage,
Well, so they're trying to get Rampage numbers up, Jeffrey. They're trying to get the ratings. They want people to come and watch the show, so they're letting people know. They're having Jack Perry let people know that, hey, I'm calling out Christian and Luchasaurus on Rampage. Check it out.
Okay. I'm not convinced that he is gonna boost ratings for a Rampage yet, but it's possible. I could be wrong.
Again, it's not necessarily that it has to be just him, but they're just setting up for their Rampage show. Like they do this every week.
Yeah, I got you.
They're like, hey, we're gonna have a segment on Friday where they're facing off, and lo and behold, it's already announced for the show. It's part of the card for Rampage that they are gonna have a face-to-face Jack Perry and Christian and Luchasaurus.
Okay. All right, next up, we had a Jon Moxley with William Regal in-ring promo on MJF. Moxley basically says, I faced MJF about a year ago, last year, and I whipped his ass. And he doesn't see much difference in him. He doesn't know what's going to be any different. He said, why would it go any different this time than it did last time? But I did like how he talked to Regal saying, who does he remind you of, and they kind of said that Maxwell reminds them of a young Jon Moxley. I really feel like everything about this is reinforcing me and Coach thinking that Regal's going to turn on him. I felt like this whole thing was just like, yep, it's happening.
I'm torn because I do see that as a possible outcome. I really do. But I can't sit here and not question Stokely Hathaway still being with MJF. because here's the thing, right? Like, and I could be wrong. I don't know. But in the Stokely promo, he talks about how, like, well, we know that MJF's like the devil, and Stokely's like, well, I'll see you in hell. And like for me, that was actually the like, maybe this is all a play. Maybe this is all a joke. You know what I mean? Like, or like a fraud, like a they're fleecing them. They're getting ready to trick Mox into thinking that this is going to be a straight up 1-on-1 match, and then it ends up not being a 1-on-1 match. It ends up, with some shenanigans. And I don't know. I just
Yeah, it could be.
like, and I see it going both ways. And again, that's just great storytelling. I could see Stokely and the firm actually still working for MJF. I could also, because again, man, that turned really quickly. I mean, that was like a 3-week build to turning on them. I mean, that was quick. Not that it's bad. It's just it happened very quick.
True.
I see, Coach. I don't think Stokely's going to cost MJF the match. I think that's where they're going, but I think that's where the swerve comes in. I think that's a swerve.
Here's a crazy thought that I had. What if Regal kind of sort of joins Stokely?
See, I could also see that happening. I don't know, because part of me just thinks like, I think
Bunch
it
of
could work
young
either way.
talent.
I think it could work either way. I think it could work where you see Regal joining MJF, but I could also see it working where Regal stays with Blackpool Combat Club. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very intriguing, and I'm really excited for this main event. I really want to see what happens and how it goes down. But yeah, I could see it going either way, but I'm not 100% locked in on anything.
They've done a really good job of making this unpredictable, man. I'll tell you that much.
Right.
All right. Next up, we had another one of these elite video packages of them being deleted, and like it was like a rewind through their careers. I absolutely freaking love these things. And at the end of this one, I believe we saw what appeared to be a clock that was part of Full Gear, because most of the video package had gears and stuff moving like the Full Gear pay-per-view. And then we saw a clock clicking down to 12. So I am taking this as this should be the return of the Elite at Full Gear. Is that what you're taking from this?
Yes, but I find it funny that you did not mention the biggest, you're not wrong. The whole gears and the clock thing, like that is the Full Gear, design package poster, whatever you want to call it. Jeff, they literally show the Prudential Center in the video.
Nice, yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was funny that you were like, oh, I think the clock and the gears. It's like, no, man. Like, they didn't even bullshit it. They were just like, hey, they just slap it on the wall. Here's the Prudential Center. They're gonna be there.
I know. I just didn't want to make it seem like they were like, all right, the Elite's coming back, Full Gear. Here we go.
Well, that's what they did. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for the Elite to come back. They're very into it. Again, like you are correct. These video packages have been very good. And I'm quite pleased with it. I'm very excited.
Yeah, absolutely. I love those packages. They're so cool. Next up, we had a Bryan Danielson video package on Sammy Guevara. And he said, Sammy's face is a symbol of disrespect. And dude, I almost started clapping. I was just like, yes, that is perfect. And then I had a funny thought, because I'm a huge Dr. Disrespect fan. I was like, Danielson's going to be Dr. Disrespect tonight and kick the shit out of Sammy. Yeah, it's only funny to fans of Dr. Disrespect, I guess. Yes. But yeah, this was great. I love Danielson. It seems like he's getting angrier and angrier by the day, doesn't it?
Yeah, man, he's getting fired up. I love it. Love to see it.
Getting all pissed off at everybody.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up we had Jamie Hayter versus Sky Blue. We had Britt Baker in Jamie Hayter's corner and Tony Storm in Sky Blue's corner. And man, just like you said earlier, you hit the nail on the head. Sky Blue is getting better and better every time she comes out here. And this entire women's division is getting better and better every time they come out here. I really feel like, if he's still doing it, that Danielson helping train them and some of these other girls they've brought in, it's really, really showing now. Like, really showing.
Again, just my point again. It's just The women's division is just really killing it right now, and I think it needs to be talked about and mentioned. And like I see the women's division just thriving right now, where I look across the aisle, and I see them hot potatoing women tag belts around, and it's just like, okay, well, I mean, I think we could see which division is doing better. I mean, it's just pretty clear. But what do I know? I've just been watching this stuff for 20 plus years. Um, all right. But anyways, no, I mean, this was Sky Blue's probably. I think this was her best outing in AEW. Coach Nick kind of said it really well here. Ever since Madison Rain stepped into AEW, it's been really elevated. I mean, also we can't, I think Kenny Omega, Bryan Danielson, like reportedly they've both had stuff to do with the women's division as well. Like Jeff said, Bryan Danielson has been helping train and coach the women in the in-ring product and the psychology of the product, and Kenny Omega has also, been hands-on with the women's division as well. So yeah, I mean, it's great. There's just so much potential and so much promise that we're not even like talking about like right now. Like right now, Willow Nightingale is doing a tour of Japan. Like there are women on TV right now that are just not on TV. Statlander's out. Like this division's not even at 100%, and that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
And yes,
that's wild.
Tasha's probably going to sign with WWE again. Is what it is. That's her loss, honestly. I think if she really respected her craft, I think she would go to to AEW. I think she should at least do a run there. You know what I mean? I think she's doing herself a disservice, but that's just me. That's my opinion.
Yeah, we'll
more.
see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's going back to WWE. She's a lot of people were upset online because she's teasing fans. She's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm in Boston tonight," but it's because she's filming a movie tomorrow. It wasn't because she was going to debut at AEW, but you knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
She's clearly
I mean,
going to debut at Survivor or return at Survivor Series. Like it's anyone with like half
yeah,
a brain cell.
they
tell
have
you-
two figures on the same team that aren't there. I'm like, oh gee,
Yeah, I'm like, oh man, I wonder who it is.
I wonder who that is.
See, and so I've made this kind of this notice. I've noticed this. I've made note of this, right? So like WWE, right? Honest question, Jeff. I know you haven't watched in like a month. Other than the returns, right? What is there been to be excited about the product? It's like because yeah, okay, returns are cool, but like they're like that's not substance. You need substance to go behind with the returns. So like my question is like what are they doing right now other than these returns?
I don't even know. I haven't been watching, but I've seen some things of like Alexa's gonna join back with Bray. They're putting Bray's logo behind her in some segments and stuff, and I'm just like, okay, going back to what everyone hated. I get okay, sure. I don't know. You got Nikki Cross winning the 24/7 title and then dropping it in the trash can, which is where it belonged in the first place, but missing the fucking trash can from 1 feet away. It's got a 3-foot hole on it.
So like my question, right? So is that like just how like is that how they think championships work? Can Seth Rollins just take the US title and just like throw it in the trash and just be like, all right,
that's gone forever.
Yep, the title is now retired. You know what I mean? And it's not just a WWE thing. Like if AEW were to do it, it'd be fucking stupid too. If I don't know, like if Wardlow was just like, yeah, I'm done with this thing. Trash can. All right, well the belt's retired. Like she threw it in the trash can. Like that's just such a like. And what does it like say about your product? Like I understand, maybe you could argue like, well, it was Vince's idea. It wasn't, Hunter's idea. Like okay, but like, are you gonna disrespect a championship in your company? Like you're gonna bury yourself basically there. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
I don't know what they were thinking.
And I wasn't like a big fan of the 24/7 title. Like this is not me saying I think the 24/7 should still be a thing or that I enjoyed it. It was fun for like I don't even remember ever liking it, but it was just like, okay, well, could you at least do yourself the respect? Like here's what they should have done. They should have unified the title with another title, and you could do that very easily because Dana Brooke was the women's champion. You could have, if you wanted to have Dana Brooke do it, And it gives you an easy storyline, an easy challenger
Yeah.
for another champion. You could have the champion, even if you wanted to have a guy win it and then do it to the US or the Intercontinental. Like, you could do it where it's like unify the titles and have it be a Falls Count Anywhere match, so it still goes in line with the 24/7 title. Like, why not do that? Why is the thought process, let's just throw it in the trash? Let's not turn this into a positive. Let's not do anything redeeming about it. Let's just throw it in the fucking trash. Like, it's
all
WWE.
they needed to do with this belt is make it to where it wasn't one of those things that like 50 people can chase you around the fucking arena. That was so stupid. It needed to be, you could challenge for it anywhere and anytime, yeah, but it still had to be a fucking match in the ring. You know what I mean? Like,
Again,
not that some asshole could.
I'm not even saying keep the belt. I'm cool with them retiring the belt. It was an awful idea. It was a bad idea it was a stupid idea from bad creative.
Bad creative.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It was never good, but you could still make something out of it. You know what I mean? Like, you could still go and have this match that, a Falls Count Anywhere match, unification title, main event Raw with that match. That's a great thing. Yeah, that's the title that R-Truth always had.
Yes, it is, Coach.
Yeah,
he's like a 15 time.
Yeah, he's like 120 time 24/7 champion. It's fucking ridiculous. But I don't know. We can get back to AEW. It's just Raw has been really bad lately.
I don't even know how we got to. Oh, you asked about the women's division. Yeah, somehow we got to that because Dana Brooke had it. Yep. All right.
Well, yeah, we were talking about the women's division.
Down the rabbit hole.
And then
you
you brought up Nikki Cross, and then that was like, okay, well, we're going to talk about it then.
Yeah. But, Jamie Hayter's putting on banger after banger, whether it's a singles or a tag team match. I have not seen a bad Jamie Hayter match. Sky Blue is looking incredible. Obviously, Sky Blue took the pinfall in this one. We're pushing Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm here. So, Jamie Hayter hits her big ripcord lariat, the 1, 2, 3. She keeps on kicking her after the bell. Toni Storm jumps in the ring to save her. Great match. I was very surprised at Sky Blue's growth here. I hadn't necessarily noticed it, even though I noticed she was doing good matches. I didn't necessarily notice like that amount of growth until here tonight and you mentioning it. So yeah, kudos to her. All right, next up, we had a video package for Brian Cage versus Dante Martin. Brian Cage says, Dante, you might be a once-in-a-generation talent, but I'm a once-in-a-lifetime talent. Brian Cage is a freak of nature, man. That dude's body is just built differently. That's wild. It's like Bobby Lashley. Him and Bobby Lashley got that crazy, bulky muscle,
Yeah. It's insane. This guy is super ripped and yet super athletic.
Yeah. Coach Nick says, can you imagine Julia Hart versus Sky Blue in 5 to 10 years? Oh, dude. In like 2 years, 3 years. That might be a play for the future.
That might... You say that, and I'm sure you don't say it in a joking way, but that might be the play in 5 years. Keep an eye out
for real. Absolutely.
Who better?
All right, next up we had Alex Marvez backstage looking for Ricky Starks, but instead he finds Lance Archer, the Murder Hawk monster, with Ricky Starks kind of laid out up against the wall. Ricky tries to fight back and gets his head smashed into the wall again. Lance Archer says everybody dies, and he tells Ricky he's not making it to the elimination match. So is that supposed to be on Rampage or next week?
Great question. I think it's on Rampage. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that Lance Archer match is going to fall, but we might do a giveaway for a Lance Archer figure on that night. I got like 4 of them.
Yeah, that's not on Rampage. It's going to be on Dynamite, I guess. It'll probably be on next week's Dynamite.
There we go. So maybe next week on Dynamite, the Dynamite before Full Gear, we will do a giveaway for a Lance Archer figure.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of them. All right. Next up, we had a 2 of 3 falls match. Our main event of the evening, Sammy Douchebag Guevara versus Bryan Danielson. Dude, this match was awesome. There were some spots that Sammy Guevara pulled off that were so incredible that like 10 people in the crowd wanted to really, really start the holy shit chant. But the rest of the crowd was just like, no, we refuse to cheer for this guy. But they actually did eventually get people to cheer for Sammy to just say, you still suck. You still suck. Because what he was doing was just incredible. You had to acknowledge it somehow, you know?
Yeah, I mean, again, I mentioned it earlier. We talk about it a lot. It's real. It's not frustrating. I mean, I guess it's frustrating. Like Sammy Guevara is so fucking talented. He's so good. And like I think the hate is a little bit stronger with you than it is for me. I kind of just let it be because it's just that's what they're going for. They're obnoxious heels that are gonna make it out and be just like the most annoying thing ever. Sorry about that. I was looking at something on my computer. But it was just I think Sammy's so good, and this match was excellent and really enjoyable. Danielson and Guevara definitely have that good chemistry going. And yeah.
He's the Terrell Owens of wrestling.
Sure, but T.O. was still very good. So
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this match, we had some fuck you Sammy chants clear as day on live television. That was interesting. I was surprised they didn't do their little, bleepage kind of stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
So Ty Conti hides a chair down near the steps to the ring. They lure Danielson out of the ring, and Sammy just blatantly uses the chair and sacrifices the first fall so he can gain the upper advantage against Danielson. So Danielson goes up 1-0, but at the expense of a chair shot to the face. So Guevara was firmly in control of this here. Guevara hits a quick GTH not too long after, gets the fall 1-2-3, and we got a 1-1 evened up.
So I have to admit that, like, with the 2 out of 3 falls formula, I've always wondered that, like, why doesn't a wrestler just take the DQ?
Yeah.
And just fuck, like, obviously they only did 1 chair shot, but like, why doesn't a wrestler do that? Like, okay, 2 out of 3 falls. Okay, well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a chair, I'm gonna beat the crap out of this guy. I'll have to lose a fall, but I'm gonna hurt him to a point where I can get the other 2 falls relatively easy. Super smart from Sammy Guevara. Love the psychology of it. Love the thought process behind it. The reasoning behind it. I think it's very on brand for what a heel JS Sammy Guevara would do. Yes, very smart, very well told story.
Yeah, and to add to what you're saying, I think the moment that one fall happens, the next fall has begun, correct? Or like the next match has already begun. So I'm thinking if he were to continue hitting him with the chair, it would be like another disqualification, you know?
Well,
so the
no,
one chair shot kind of made sense.
Well, no, because they basically have to separate them before the next bell rings.
Okay.
Because if you keep in mind, Sammy hit him with the chair and then he grabbed the microphone. He was like jamming Danielson's eye with the mic.
Yeah,
So like the
you're
next
right,
ball hadn't started right away. It's more of it's like the way it works is that after the fall, the referee has to make sure that both sides are ready to start the next fall.
Yep, you're right. I actually did miss that. You are correct.
Yes.
All right, so Ty Conti does get herself ejected in the next few minutes here. She pulls out Bryce Rimsberg in the middle of a count. After we came back from break, Danielson had a split above his eyebrow. He was bleeding pretty good. And then not too long after that, he gets his nose busted open. I don't think he had a broken nose, but man, Danielson was bleeding from like two of the many holes on his head.
His nose was swollen up. He almost looked like it was a banana nose circus. You know what I mean?
Oh, then he might have had a broken nose if it was swelling like that.
It was looking like Triple Paul's nose. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was looking pretty swollen.
Oof. All right. Well, Sammy tries to hit a springboard off the top rope, but catches a knee to the face. They both kind of stay down for a little bit here. Danielson goes to the top rope multiple times throughout the match and gets taken out on top of the ropes every time. Sammy was just too quick for him, kept knocking him off. He hit a huge knee when he was up on the top of the rope, sending him flying to the outside. And then Sammy did a freaking shooting star press off the top to the outside. And that's where he got the crowd to say, "You still suck. You still suck." You know, they had to acknowledge how freaking badass that was. That was like a perfect shooting star press.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. He gets Danielson back into the ring. He tries another huge move off of the top rope, but Danielson reverses it into the label lock. He gets out of the label lock, tries to hit a GTH, but Danielson reverses that into a Poison Rana. We get Sammy countering the Busaiku knee into a Lion Tamer. I mean, turns the Lion Tamer into a Boston Crab in Boston, by the way. That was pretty good. But Danielson eventually hits the Busaiku knee, puts him in a crucifix with a bunch of nasty elbows. And then for the finish of this match, this label lock that Danielson locked in was the nastiest label lock I have ever seen him put anybody in. Sammy's arm was legitimately twisted up behind his back. And then when he locked the other arm in, dude, that looked like a real legitimate submission that looked extremely painful.
Yeah, I just the modified label lock. It definitely did, and Sammy ends up passing out.
Yeah, Danielson with the win, TKO. Amazing episode of Dynamite tonight. This was a great main event. I absolutely loved this episode. This was freaking awesome.
Yeah, excellent episode of Dynamite. We're coming up close to Full Gear, and it's just going to be a fun week getting into Full Gear week. But we have Rampage before that. Yeah.
All right, so that does it for the AEW Dynamite review show. What do we got going on Rampage?
All right, well, so Rampage, we have the continuation of the World Title Eliminator Tournament. We have Brian Cage versus Dante Martin. We have Bandito versus Roosh. And we also are going to have... Okay, so it's just those matches for the Eliminator Tournament. But we will have Nyla Rose, the self-proclaimed TBS Championship Open Challenge. So she will defend her TBS Championship. No, Coach, they did no Ring of Honor matches this week. Because they're building to an AEW pay-per-view. So you have to manage your TV time. Jungle Boy Jack Perry will come face-to-face in the ring with Christian Cage and Luchasaurus. And then we will have the All-Atlantic Championship defended. Orange Cassidy will defend his title against Big Shotty Lee Johnson.
Let's fucking go!
Let's fucking go. Love me some Orange Cassidy, man. The more, the better with him right now. That dude is an absolute star. Love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, you got anything already for next Wednesday?
So no, they don't have anything announced for Dynamite right now. I would imagine that there will be a lot of stuff announced on Friday.
All right, perfect. Well, I think that gives us towards the end of the show here. So I think it's time for you to make a little announcement, huh?
Yes, absolutely. Well, it has been requested by many of you. We obviously appreciate your support here at the Broken Tables podcast. Jeff and I have been kind of shooting around the idea about doing our gaming podcast, and that will be launching this weekend. It's called The Game Room. It will be a show that is usually done on Monday nights, but we are going to do the first episode this Saturday night. Jeff and I don't really have a time set yet, so we'll figure that out and make that known. But yeah, we will be doing a gaming podcast starting this weekend with weekly episodes on Monday nights.
Yes, so definitely tune in on Saturday. I'll have the pre-lobby thing where you guys can wait, in chat before, so you'll have a good idea of what time the show will be. Once we figure that out, I'll have that up on Saturday afternoon, so you guys can prepare yourselves. And it's going to be a really cool show. I can't wait. We're kind of switching roles for that one. Rome is going to be our host. I will be the co-host. So it's gonna be fun. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a while now. Just kind of a matter of when to do it and then timing amongst other things. But I just think that right now, I love talking about video games almost as much, if not more, than I love talking about wrestling. I would say they're very evenly matched. So having the opportunity to kind of talk about video games, the first episode's going to kind of outline what the episodes are going to look like. As Jeff said, I've kind of taken the reins on the show, so I'm going to be, kind of throwing the show together and kind of, creating the show as we go. But I have some really cool ideas that we're going to get into on Saturday. If you want to know what the show is going to consist of and what it's going to be like, again, tune in on Saturday to kind of get the vibe of what I'm trying to create. All gaming is welcome. It's going to be a gaming podcast. I mean, obviously, I have my specialities in gaming, and Jeff has his. But I mean, we're going to try to cover a pretty broad spectrum. At least that's the goal.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
if you like Nintendo, if you like Xbox, if you like PlayStation, if you like playing all three, like myself, this will be the show for you.
Oh, Coach, that means a lot, man. That really does.
Oh yeah,
And,
thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
and I was a chef for 15 years, so if we ever want to do something like that, I'm down, bro. All right, and I did put some work in on a new setup for that podcast, so it's gonna have the same vibe as what you see now, but it will be different. It will be gaming centered, so look forward to that as well. Can't wait to see you guys on Saturday. So that's gonna be fun. But before that, we will see you guys on Friday night for our AEW Rampage review. You got anything else for us here tonight, Room?
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, I was thinking about going back on Fed Talk, but I mean, I don't know, man. Let's just not.
Nah, I'm over it.
Yeah, let's not.
Yeah, really over. If something comes up throughout the week that makes me want to again, we'll talk about it on Friday night with the Rampage.
Yeah, sure.
All right, man. Well, another excellent episode of Dynamite and the Broken Tables podcast. So go ahead and close us out, sir.
Well, this has been episode 88 of the Broken Tables podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider giving us a like and a subscribe or a follow, depending on where you find us. Thank you to everyone listening to us live here on youtube.com. Thank you for hanging out, everyone. The coach was even here live tonight. That was nice to have on a Wednesday night. I really loved having that. Thank you to everyone who's listening to us also in the future. Not Coach, but everyone else. Thank you to everyone on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. You can follow us on our social medias in the description below. We go live on YouTube following every single AEW Dynamite, Rampage, and even pay-per-views. Full Gear is next week. We will be there live. Coverage will happen. That's all I can say right now. We hope to see you again. Enjoy your Thursday, and we'll see you guys on Friday.
Absolutely. Thank you guys all very much for hanging out. And Coach, thank you very much for sticking to the end for our announcement. And until Friday night, Top Guys and Zelda out.